All right. Hello. I'm back with another video. And so I did forget to do a week recap for the previous week. It's the end of Monday. So I'm just going to quickly begin uh, with the start of last week and until this week's Monday. So I think it's I don't know what week it is, but it's one of the weeks, you know. Um, all right. So anyway, so on Monday, right? Last Monday, I took a loss, little 1 hour loss, right here, right? I What I wanted to see happen, and this trade, honestly, it was not the best trade I've taken in recent time. Um, However, there was still a good amount of backing behind it. Um, so anyway, what we have is this large new week opening gap, right? Because of recent events that's been going on, we saw this sell off. And we left a little bit of space here where the gap was unfilled. This is a large volume imbalance. I wanted to see us react off of it and continue this so far, kind of this internal range or internal trend. I know overall we are trending, we were kind of in a range, but I wanted to see that bearish trend kind of continue. So anyway, Monday I got on, I took this trade. This trade ended up being a pretty swift loss, as you can see. Came down, tapped this in, tapped this out. SMT, this was a type B in my opinion because we had rejection, rejection, breakthrough, and then thing. So we had the internal manipulation, we had the external manipulation. Um, the only thing that there wasn't really true, clear thing was um, attainable draws, right? The most recent draw would be this low for 200 points, right? Like that's um, something I need to kind of learn and understand is like, okay, if it's gonna be, if we just move 200 points in that direction, are we really gonna drop 200 points? What? Sorry about that. So anyway, we, yeah, something I just kind of need to keep in mind is that if we are already moving up, 200 something points on the day, 300 points in this scenario, right? There's not really gonna be a pullback that far. And sure, there is a break-even point. However, like, why even risk that? Like sometimes it will work, but I don't know. This kind of it wasn't a bad trade in my opinion. Let me just I don't remember what I marked it down as. I'm pretty sure this was considered a B setup because it was lacking that that draw, you know. Let's see. Hold on. Just gonna load here. Yeah, I considered it a plus setup because everything was technically, well, was it? I mean, okay, I guess it was considered an A plus setup in mine. I probably would have ended up taking this again. Um, and it was a week ago, so I'm kind of having a hard time remembering everything exactly, but it was not bad. The entry obviously could have been a bit better, but it was a loss regardless. Anyway, moving on to the next day, I kind of want to go through this a little quicker because I am taking a long time. So on Tuesday, we had come down. We had, right? So we'd taken out this internal low. We already went lower. We took out this low and we had a nice reaction off of it. Now I'm already keeping in mind that okay, we just had a sell off. I would have liked to have caught a short. It was very kind of wicky and choppy and ranging price in this area, but it was okay. There was still a draw below. Came down, had a nice strong reaction off of it, um, and I entered. Right, this is a type A. This is something that I would enter time and time again. Right, and even if it does not work out, right, this is still has a good high potential R. The issue with this trade is I ended up cutting it way too short, right? This would have been a good draw. This would have been a good target. However, I ended up cutting it here. I think I was, again, kind of letting yesterday's loss affect me, and that's something that I at least like. I need to step away from that, right? It's okay to take a loss as long as you don't blow up from it or you don't, you know, react the next day due to it. Because I cut my loss, I cut my win here because I thought, okay, we're not gonna run up this high. We're gonna edge it. We're gonna continue lower because the trend's lower. I didn't really trust the process when, if it was the first trade of the month or the first trade of the week, I probably would have trusted the process and let it run fully. Um, However, we still took a 212 or 2.1 or 2.2 R, right? So we closed like here. It was around, I think, I want to say, let me just pull up my thing real quick on my other screen so I don't freaking leak everything again. But it was a $589 win, right? So it's a bit, it was good. So that was 2R. And that put my balance, right, from yesterday's loss and then today's win. That put me at 550.5K on the balance. So working into Wednesday, um, I actually did not enter this. I did journal though because it's something that I want to kind of learn from. It's this trade here where we go and we kind of hold on. Let me just merge these two. Okay. I did not take this trade, but again, right? It's the same kind of concept. I would have liked to see us have a position to run higher. We had a nice SMT up here. We rejected off of it. Um, we displaced low, type A, right? And that's kind of meets the criteria. Um, we had an inversion here, went down, quick break even, stop at a reasonable area. So this was a good, would have been a good break even. I didn't take it because I don't know, I don't trust myself taking a trade like that after we move upwards of 300 points. So that kind of does reduce it, right? And that is also why I kind of mark this trade as a B setup because again, we're moving very high up. We don't have an internal manipulation. We do have the external manipulation, but it's just not everything, right? This one was the internal manipulation and the external manipulation. Um, for me, internal is if it's in the same day or same range. External would be more of like a previous day draw or something like that. So like for me, this is an internal manipulation, right? And on this day, on Thursday, we had this internal manipulation, right? That we swept the line high, and we had a strong reaction off of it. We kind of had this issue where we didn't close below, like we just closed too high above. But this was I was eyeing this short out, and I didn't want to enter too early and have us get stopped out. So waiting was the right thing to do. We did have a nice pullback, right? We had the manipulation. I'm pretty sure this was also an S&T on this day. So we didn't close above. I was anticipating us to go back higher and then manipulate lower, but we missed out on this entry for a good amount of RR, but that's okay. It happens, you know. And then following this, we swept here. We had a nice manipulation internally to send us back higher, right? And this is kind of this day. We're playing ping pong, right? We're going 200 up, 200 down. I was anticipating, okay, it could be a high time frame range. Um, I didn't take this though because I didn't trust it. I had a feeling like, okay, if we're gonna manipulate above and below, and there's still further draw, right? Because at this point, right, what is there above us? We just taken out 3 relative highs. We're inside this large imbalance. I was like, okay, we have Asia high, but are we gonna actually move? Are we gonna ping pong all the way back up? Does the market have enough volume to move that high? So I didn't enter. This trade would have been a break-even trade as well, and so with this one. This one was a break-even trade. This one I did end up taking. But yeah, it was a good trade, and I was happy I did enter. The lowest win was 1.1. But yeah, stop is above the CE, right? Or it could have been a bit lower, but risking 2 micros, right? And break even there. And yeah, we just got stopped out. Went about my day, let it go. But yeah, that's like this was one of the more trickier days recently. in my personal opinion. Um, but yeah, it was still manageable to read if you're understanding the scenario and the situation of the market and like, okay, where are we going to go and why are we going to go there? So that really was what helped me understand. And yeah, moving on to um, Friday. Friday was a win. Friday was a bit of a tricky one, but it was a win regardless. Um, so yeah, we had NFP on this day. We had a strong move down, right? We came down, we took out some of these like these external draws, I must say, and then I wanted to see us continue higher because I wanted to see us come for this data high, right? This was my draw of the day. I was like, okay, we're no way we leave that untouched, right? And that may be a bit of bias, but that's what I've seen and what I've been able to kind of learn from. Anyways, coming into the market open, we come down, we take out these internal lows, right? We have a nice turtle soup entry. But then what happens, right? We fail, 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 break above both of these inversions. I was waiting for us to get down to here, right? But we got down into here and we just continued to push. So I slowed down myself, I stopped myself, I waited for a bit, came down, started pushing back up. I got in roughly around here. I do think I got a better fill actually. Um, Again, it was just two cons. Um, I did close up here for like this because of the fact that we edged here. We edged and I dragged my stop loss up to here. I was like, okay, I'm not going to get edged and get in this one. It came back pretty darn far. I did end up taking out the high, but I was more than satisfied with what I got. But yeah, this one, and I just put my stop loss under here right as it came out into play. But yeah, uh, if I were to enter, right, I would have, if I weren't, if I wasn't waiting for this pullback, my entry would have looked, instead of like this, it may have looked like um, a bit more, of a filled out stop, like I don't know, something like this, and then I would have waited out for this because that would have been the optimal resort. I just had a feeling based off of the previous price action, and this is something that you kind of just develop, right? We're we're kind of moving very up, down, up, down, up, down. I was anticipating if we closed above these two, we'd probably get a nice rebalance into this large volume, right? This large area of volume before confirming that we go higher. So yeah, entering here, right, when we closed back below was, sure, you can consider that a bit more risky, but I felt pretty confident that we were going to hit this draw, right? And that's why the draw is very important when you're trading. So yeah, and then coming into today, right, Monday, I'll just cover Monday as well, so I don't have to do it next time. But as you can see, I took another win. Um, and this one, right, we had a tight B. We failed. We failed. We then closed above, right? And if I was just pattern trading, I would have most definitely either taken a loss or had worse RR. Nevertheless, I did take a trade that I was happy with. So yeah, got in, put my stop below the displacement candle, right? This is the second time closing above here. I felt confident. I had this draw, this break even point, I want to say, here. So it was a little bit of a shorter break even. And then this was the initial, but the issue is I cut my win short. I wanted to see us come and fill this entire imbalance, which would have been 3.5 RR. However, I cut my win around a 2, I think, right around like 500 bucks. Right around, yeah, right around 500 bucks. Um, and that is, or sorry, 473. So that's something I tend to struggle with. It's actually letting my winners run. Um, I'm kind of getting down to the point where I don't let my losers affect me. And today it's a little different because right now I'm sitting at 514, right? So this was a $500 win. This was a $500 win, and um, this was a $500 win. So I'm actually, I'll pull it up here. I'm actually going to request a payout. Um, $757. I'm just blocking out the account number there. I don't want to show that anymore. This is the P&L, so you know I'm actually honest and being truthful with what I'm saying. But yeah, uh, overall, very solid, and I'm very proud to say that I know it works, right? And how did I get to this point, right? And it's been every week I've been documenting, so it's not like I'm doing something different, right? It's been the same strategy, same model. I've just been following my rules, risking $250 per trade. Sorry, I'm a little ill, but risking $200 a day, right? Or sorry, $250 a day, focusing on taking the better setups, right? That that has been what has allowed me to get to this point. Um, back in January, back in December, back in last year, right? When I started, I developed this way of trading myself, right? I'm not saying I reinvented the wheel, but I found something I liked. I built upon it, and I've discovered, okay, we tend to see this, we tend to see that. If this happens, then that happens. X, Y, Z, right? Finding those reasons for those problems and just applying it, right? And all of my trades look relatively similar, right? Like come down, go buy, come down, go buy, right? And it's not like I'm not getting a crazy RR, right? If I did hold, sure, but I'm targeting reasonable draws. I'm still human, right? And you're seeing that. I'm not able to hold my targets the whole way, and that's something I need to work on. Is trusting myself, trusting the draw, and trusting the model a bit more. But this getting this payout, it helps me secure the fact that I know what I'm doing. I'm not just crazy for chasing or trading this way or anything. Every strategy has its ups and it has its down. February, I closed the month at 5R at the end of the month, right? It was a very rough month for me. This month, I'm already at 5RR if you include these wins, right? So, or something like that. Including the wins, including the losses, I'm around 5RR. And it shows on the P&L, which is something that I'm kind of proud about. Because if you do, I had the beginning of this month, it was 200. Now I'm at 5150, 500, 515, right? Right here. And I'm eligible for taking a $757 payout. And I'm happy, right? I'm not like giddy and jumping with joy, but like this is something I've earned. This is something I've worked towards. I know I could have done, and I've gotten a payout before, but it was not the proper way. It wasn't a very sufficient and good way of doing it. And this time I'm actually really proud of myself for being able to stick to it. Not over leveraging, not over risking, just being honest and being able to secure, a nice win. Yeah. And not every day was a winner. And being able to stay in the game and not let those losers make me overtrade, blow up, chase my losses. Right? If I took a loss on this day and I decided to get back in, or like, oh, it's gonna reverse on me, I would have gone probably stopped out with the over leverage, or I would have gone stopped out with an over leverage here, chasing profit, right? Um, but yeah, I mean that's part of it. The next steps, I think what I am gonna do is I'm gonna move over. I'm gonna take out this profit. I'm gonna reinvest it into I think or I might just do 100K on tradesea, and I'm gonna try and pass it by risking around a pretty good amount. And then for this account, I might try and let it work its way. Um, but we'll see, right? We'll see how tomorrow goes. I have to withdraw, and I don't know how fast it is or anything. But on Lucid Trading, I know that top step did take a little bit, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah. So thumbs up for the week. Um, Approaching it with a good mindset and just focusing on taking not more trades but better trades. That's what I can say, and maybe I will do another video where I actually talk more in depth about what I actually did and what I actually did in order to see, you know, these sort of numbers and these sort of results. It's nothing crazy, right? And I'm only risking 0.5% of the account. But if I were to be risking, more, right? But this is the thing about trading. It's not the number that you're trading now. It's the fact that you can reciprocate those numbers with greater values, right? So I'm only trading $250, but if I were to be trading, um, 1,000, then this would be like a $2,500 payout. Times 5 accounts, then you have $12,000 payout. It's very simple, but it's also very hard, right? Psychologically. Um, for me, my psychological issues are holding trades, and I'm getting better at that, and I'm getting better at not letting other things affect me, and just kind of focusing on taking the actual good setups, right? Being more strict with what I take and what I don't take. Because 2 weeks ago, if I were to be trading, right, I'll see if I can find it, but there were some days where like, yeah, sure, there's an entry, but you enter and you're gonna get stopped out, Um, I don't know. It was one of the weeks in February where it was like we would go, but yeah, right here. Let's say I just did this, right? And this was something I would use to trade. Was I would trade something where it's like chop, 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 no clear manipulation, would come up higher. Oh, we closed above, right? We just pattern trade, and then I get stopped out. But yeah, sorry about that. I just had a sneeze. But yeah. I mean, I'm gonna clear my drawings now. But it's it's just been a matter of being more strict, following my rules, not getting mad, over trading, revenge trading, and being able to accept loss. Right? There's a lot of things that go into it, but you just have to break it down step by step. Um, I went through a lot of failure before I saw some numbers, right? But that doesn't mean it's impossible, and it doesn't mean that I can't do it. It's just it. You will receive what you are owed in due time, and I believe that full heartedly. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna chill the rest of the day, go to the gym, do what I gotta do, and request my payout, which is pretty awesome. Being able to seal that deal, but yeah, I am going to take off, and I don't know when I'll get this video up, but yeah, toodles.